Hello, everybody. Welcome in for another edition of Talking Rasslin. I'm Pondwater Dave. Joined with me, as always, is the First Lady of the Arn Anderson Fan Club, Amy Vaughn. What's going on, Miss Amy?
Hello, hello. Puppy training is what's
Oh,
going on here. So we
it
got a
always
new
seems like a good
puppy.
idea to get one.
Well, you know what though? We were like, because we have two dogs now. We just got a puppy 2 weeks ago, and I'll tell you that story. I haven't told that story yet, have I? How we got her?
I
I
don't.
might have
Well, we hadn't
told
done a
you.
show in 2 weeks.
Okay, okay,
We were all wrestling out. We took a break last week.
that's very true. So we didn't even talk about our weekend or nothing already.
No,
We haven't talked about. Okay, okay. I guess so. I guess it's been a whirlwind.
I think we talked about Nashville, didn't we?
See, that's what I thought.
I
I
think
don't
last
remember.
episode we talked about Nashville.
Okay. Okay. But so we got a puppy. So we have two dogs. Capone is like 8 years old and he's a big dog. And he's just, kind of set in his ways. And then we got Lundy, who is she was 8 weeks old when we brought her home. And she is a puppy. She chews, she plays, and it's kind of fun to watch Capone and her because he does try to keep up with her and he's playing, and then they're both, wiped out. But we had it really good with Capone. Like he just kind of like hung out. He'd go to the door when he needed to go out. He would bark if he was out of food. You got to keep your eyes on her at all times, or she might
Yeah.
get into something, or she's going to bite some, tear something up. So it's like a toddler. So like we were talking about how we were like kind of empty nesters and doing our own thing, and now we've got this toddler in the house, but she is beyond precious. And if you hear any whining, it's because I put her in her crate because my husband's out mowing, and again, I don't want her roaming through the house, but
Yeah, that's
she is
not a
like
good
a
idea.
beagle mix. No, she's a little beagle mix. She is a very sweet girl, and I'll show more pictures on Facebook as she
Well,
gets
cool.
older. Yeah,
Hey,
but we picked.
Miss Ginger and
Oh,
Andrew's with us. This Andrew's right in here out of the gate tonight. What's going on, Andrew?
I know. We picked her up at a restaurant. I'll tell you that little story. So we were going on a whiskey tour, and so it was in Columbus, Kentucky, and on the river. So this barge is the distillery. Like that's where the barrels are, is on the water. And it's Ingram whiskey. So we were going to go there. We met my sister and her husband at a little restaurant, very good, named Jen's Place in Columbus. And so we were in there. And when Sean and I got there, Mary and them were already there inside. But when we got there, we only saw one dog outside. And it was like kind of laying in the road. I was like, oh, I don't want to see any animal, dogs especially, get hurt. So we go back in and we're talking. And so Mary is like, oh, did you see the little dogs outside? And I said, well, we only saw one dog. He was kind of laying in the road. She goes, oh, no, there's this cutest little beagle looking dog. And she's just so precious. And she was outside when we were leaving. Well, the waitress inside said, those are my dogs. I'm actually trying to rehome the beagle dog because of some things that were going on in her life. And she lived across the street. And that's the reason why the dogs were kind of going back and forth. And so Mary just got a dog. And so me and Sean were looking at each other, and it's just like, oh man, like, should we, And so we're like, well, but we still had this whiskey tour. So there was nothing. And after the whiskey tour, I was leaving to come down to Nashville. So like that, so I was like, I'm leaving for 3 days. So I mean, if we're doing this, then you're going to be in, so just kind of putting it out there. And so we sure did. We stopped at that little restaurant and said, yeah, we want to take her, and took her home. She snuggled in my arms the whole way there, and
So what
told
I'm
Aaron
hearing
like,
is that
hey, go
you
upstairs.
got drunk and got a puppy.
No. Maybe it might have helped a little bit that we had some bourbon, right? There was no talking ourselves out of it, but we called Aaron and was like, our son, and was like, hey, go get that crate upstairs in the attic. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, we're basically bringing home a dog. And so she's been with us for 2.5 weeks, I guess, at this point. And she's doing really good. We're pottying, we're learning how to do things. And so, yes,
Well,
she's
cool.
my official name is Lundy Lulu. So
Go tell everybody that doesn't pick up the obvious on that what Lundy is.
well, in case you don't know, Arn Anderson, that is not his born name. That's not his government. I know. His government name is Martin Lundy. And
Okay.
so Lundy is named after him because why wouldn't you? Why would you not name your puppy after the greatest wrestler of all time? Tag team, singles, promos, everything.
All
War
right.
games. I'm just saying.
Well, there you go. We're happy
There you
for
go.
you and little Lundy, and bless Capone's heart. He's probably getting more exercise now than he ever wanted.
Oh Lord,
Whether he wants it or not.
He is. Exactly. And she comes off the top rope, she jumps on his back, he flips her around. She's always going for this like tuft of hair, like this like jowl, and just and in the back of his leg, and he just kind of swats her every so often. He'll sit on her like, I've had enough of you. And then we have to go rescue her because he's a big dog, he doesn't know his own strength. So, but yes, he's definitely shown way more mobility than he has in a very long time.
Well, tonight we're going to have Josh Newell from Bayou Independent Wrestling with us. He's got some really cool things going on, not just in wrestling, but in the world of comics. And we'll get into that when he gets here. He should be here at the bottom of the hour.
Cool.
Coach Keith is with us. Matt Presley's with us. Thanks for riding with us tonight, guys. I want to show you. I picked up a piece of merch at the last Bayou Independent show.
Oh my Lord. Treats in training.
We had Don Juan in from Texas. Don Juan's coach at the hybrid school. We use a lot of talent from down there. And and I saw this shirt and I'm like, yep, I gotta have one.
I'm sure Stephanie was so proud that
she knows.
That shirt.
She knows.
No, I didn't say she didn't know, but I'm sure she's thinking, as long as he only wears it
on the
show, it'll be okay.
My love of tits is well documented. But this is Don Juan calls it treats and he has some gear of this, and it's just that I guess he's got quite the personality, and it's really.
I can only.
But I didn't get to referee his match that night, but I've been I've heard of him for years. It's my first opportunity to be on the same card with him. I hope we get him back again. And then this past weekend I was at SWA, and we have a wrestler that we talked about him, that he came in when Hunter had to forfeit the title because he's had a health problem with his health. Lou Cameron, man, this guy's a beast. Like he won the match, and then he wouldn't release. He was choking the guy out and wouldn't let him go. And I come flying in, and I couldn't get him to let go. And then like we had our security, our event crew was in there, and he got up and he started letting them fly. And like I got out of the ring. I mean, man's got to know his limitations, but he was yeeting them left and right. I was getting them out of the ring, trying to drag them out because, I mean, there was bodies everywhere. And this guy, Hunter, tried to come out and intervene. And of course, he had to be held back by Jason, Bonnie Warbucks, and his dad and mom. Everybody's trying to keep him because he can't do it right now.
Right.
And
right.
And then the Riots and DFB had their rematch. Riots defended the SWA Tag Team Championship, and they've been getting a little personal with each other. If you follow them on the socials, Doc, Gracie, and Leo and Sammy, it's really, they've been kind of just keying in on Doc, and both of them have been going back, you know, all I can do, just, you know, he's calling the Riots entitled, and the Riots said that they've accomplished more with their career than he has in his hobby. And I mean, they said some personal, it's pretty personal. And
yeah.
And at one point, like, it got tense in the ring, and like Doc's partner Warden got in the ring, and it kind of helped me separate them. And I told him, I said, hey guys, you know, in here we're going to be professional and wrestle. Y'all go fight outside, but we're going to wrestle tonight.
Exactly.
And we had to get things calmed down. It was a little chippy, and the Riots retained, and then we had Nick Wonder defending against Braden Hosey, and Nick successfully retained his title, and Barry Wolf was in the building at ringside doing commentary all night, and they refused to let the match start until Wolf left. But as soon as the match was over, Wolf was back swinging a baseball bat. I got the hell out of Dodge.
Oh, Lord, that sounds crazy.
So it was quite an eventful night. We were in Moselle, Mississippi. I'd never been to Moselle before. We'll be back there in a couple of months. We got Birthday Palooza next month, so I won't be on that show. But so the 27th, I'm going to be in Florence, Mississippi. With Law. We're going to do a fundraiser for a little girl with brain cancer. I'll have more information about that next week. And then got West Monroe coming up for Bayou next month. So
West Monroe. Yeah, I saw that. It's the 18th, right?
Believe so.
I think so too.
There's T-Weave. And the hell, the gang's all here.
Well,
TNA,
and poor
TNA top 10 in the house.
Miss Poor Ginger, she's at Bible school, and you're walking around with "I love tits" on your shirt.
That I love tits.
I know.
Treats in training, Amy. It says on the shirt, treats in training.
You love treats? What does that even mean?
I don't know. I like tits. I mean, you notice I'm not trying to get the camera where you can see the dots in between them and all that.
Yeah, you are sillies. Posted for everybody to join us live.
What's trivia about tonight, Amy?
It's somebody's birthday.
That's a birthday.
It's a birthday trivia.
Well, then.
It's time for Amy's trivia. Can you hang? How big's your brain? It's time to play.
Coach Keith got it. There's the shirt right there. That's the next shirt right there.
Oh, Lord. Yes, Coach Keith. I'll add you to my prayer list for that.
I'll get there before you do, Coach, and I'll see if I can pee on the fire.
Oh, y'all have your own little group down there.
I'm good because Amy's got me loaded up on candles.
I do. I'll throw Coach Keith in there too. Might as well, right?
Yeah.
One more out of 100 that I'm having to do. I don't know if you were aware, but today is actually the birth date of the Ultimate Warrior. I'm going to call him Ultimate Warrior throughout this because he does literally have several name changes as we go on. It just gets too confusing for me. So, James.
I was going to flex my muscles and my brain and tell you all of his names, but
well, you might be able to.
It may appear later in the trivia, so I won't.
Yes, it may. James Brian Hellwig was born on June 16th, 1959. In what state?
A state of nudity.
No, that's not an option.
Oh,
We have the state
only one
of
I was sure of.
do what?
It's the only one. Could you imagine him getting born? He just comes running out of the birth canal. Yeah! Doctor hits him. He hits doctor back.
That
Comes
would have been
busting out of there like the tunnel. Comes down the tunnel.
no kidding. Or he could have done something. He really could have done something really crazy running out. But I would, like most people watching that in the 80s, I was young. I love that. Him coming out, that music hitting, him taking off. And I mean, trying to get us back on track here.
I can't. I got a picture of little vagina with a warrior right
Running out.
kind of like that scene in the cartoon Heavy Metal. I don't know if you saw that movie back in the 80s where they went down to the throat and came out the.
Oh no, I've not seen that.
My dad started laughing. He goes down the hatch and out the snatch.
Oh Lord, that's a cartoon.
Yeah, it was a movie called Heavy Metal.
Interesting. Yeah, really.
Oh.
It's bad when Dave gets tickled from something he says. He really.
Well, it was the visual that.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. All right. Is he from Indiana, Texas, Tennessee, or Ohio? Where is the Ultimate Warrior? Where was he born? Or where was James Bryan Hellwig born? Do you know?
I don't have a clue. That crazy bastard can't be from Texas, though.
The chat is really thinking Indiana.
Yeah, I'll go with Indiana. It's either Indiana or Ohio.
Sam said, how about Texas? It is Indiana. It was about, I think I remember it said like 30, 45 minutes away from Indianapolis, where he's from, or where he was born. Next question. Hellwig began his professional wrestling career in a tag team with Steve Borden, as we all know, Sting, named the Freedom Fighters. What promotion did they debut in? Was it Continental, AWA, WCCW, or UWF?
Coach Keith's already all over this one. Everybody, anybody that's ever listened to Jeff Jarrett podcast knows the answer to this one.
Well, you just basically
Matt Presley and Miss Ginger. Wait a minute. I think Matt Presley, well, it wasn't UWF though. That was Mid-South. No, I'm going to go CWA. I'm going CWA.
It was CWA.
Yeah,
now,
they went from Jarrett down to Mid-South.
Yes.
He kept Sting, and then he sent
Hellwig.
Right.
He was
who was Blade. They were the Blade Runners when they got to Mid-South.
Right. And actually they won vacant AWA tag team titles, like all within a span of 6. Like they went to CWA, UWF. Somehow they won the.
It wasn't UWF title yet when they went to Watts. It was still Mid-South.
Oh, Mid-South, yeah, yeah. So they did a
Sting
lot.
stayed Sting, and then he was Rock.
Yeah. But like I said, yeah, they and then he showed up in WCW. You know, like I said, they moved quite a bit that first year and a half, 2 years of wrestling. Next question.
Yeah, because Jeff tells a story about them coming to Thanksgiving when they first hit the territory.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Ultimate Warrior won the IC title twice during his time in WWF. For his first reign as IC champion, he defeated the Honky Tonk Man, which I think we all know. Remember that. Who did he defeat the second time? Was it Rick Rude, Dino Bravo, Kurt Hennig, or the Big Boss Man? Who did he defeat for the second time
Rick Rude.
holding the IC title?
I'm
Do
going
what?
with A. Rick Rude. Terry says A senses a pattern. Hey, Mark Maggard. Yeah, I think
everybody's going with A. You all are correct. It was Rick Rude. I thought what was interesting is that it would literally happen at SummerSlam both times, one year after another. So it was SummerSlam, I think 87, maybe, that he beat the Honky Tonk Man. And then a year later at SummerSlam, he defeated Rick Rude. So good job, you guys. I thought these were hard, but maybe they're not. Okay. Ultimate Warrior only participated in 3 matches in WCW. His first was the War Games match, where he competed against 8 other wrestlers for a shot at Goldberg's World Heavyweight Championship. What was the name of the pay-per-view this match took place on?
Andrew. Paging Andrew.
Was it Halloween Havoc, World War III, Fall Brawl, or Starrcade?
I'm just completely guessing. Terry sensed a pattern and went with A. I'm kind of with Mark. I think it was Fall Brawl. Oh, Coach Keith says it's Halloween Havoc.
Ginger's going for the Starrcade. She's going to see maybe it was at Starrcade. It was Fall Brawl. And actually, the match, whoever won at Fall Brawl would take on Goldberg at Halloween Havoc, just so you know. Okay, these are fill in the blank. Warrior returned to the WWF on March 31st, 1996, defeating who at WrestleMania 12? Who did he defeat?
Andrew says Triple H, which I wholeheartedly agree with. Matt says Triple H. It's supposed to be a 10-minute match. That didn't work for Warrior.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. It was Triple H. Who inducted Ultimate Warrior into the WWE Hall of Fame? Who is the person who inducted Ultimate Warrior into the Hall of Fame?
It was Linda McMahon, wasn't it? Yeah, me and Andrew are on the same page here. Yep. Matt says Linda. Terry says Linda. Coach says Linda.
Okay. It was Linda.
Listen.
Huh? Linda,
everybody's
listen.
They're all tapping here with Linda on my mind.
Listen, Linda. You're right. It was Linda McMahon.
Yeah, I think it's the only one that he really liked.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I was just wondering. The Ultimate Warrior was how old when he passed away on April 8th, 4 days after his Hall of Fame induction? How old was he?
I first wanted to say 52, but I think it was 53. Well, wait a minute. You said he was born in 59 and then he went in the Hall of Fame. Matt says 54. He's also high on dexterity. I love you for that, Matt. Let's see what the answer is. I'm saying 53.
All righty. He was 54.
Good job, Matt.
Good job.
Way too young.
Crazy how that worked out for him. You know what I mean? Literally how that worked out. It's kind of wild to think about it in that way. How to pass a
well, Amy, that was fun trivia.
Yeah, Yeah,
You know, Warrior gets a bad rap, but I always liked him.
well, the bad rap comes from, for most people, I would think, it comes from some of the derogatory things that he would say. Now, what was
Yeah,
the
but all that later, everything he did later makes you look back on him with colored glasses that, like, nobody knew he was blowing up. Nobody knew. I mean,
right?
people pick it apart now in hindsight, but
The
I mean, when
other
that
thing,
music hit, it was exciting. And I liked him. He came from Texas. He was the Dingo Warrior.
right? I'm
I mean,
trying to
you tell me
think of
you can't look at the Survivor Series team of the Road Warriors, Kerry Von Erich, and the Ultimate Warrior, and not think that's a hell of a team.
oh, definitely. What was there was a I think it was a Legends documentary that we watched where it was like everybody, like Mike Rotunda and Ted, like I can't remember which one it was about, but they were all just like Ultimate Warrior, Ultimate, like
Yeah, I mean,
which one was that? Do you remember what? I don't remember
you
what they
hear
were
now,
talking about.
probably I don't remember, but they buried him pretty good.
Well, we've heard a lot
But we
about
hear it.
again
But
how he gets hurt.
as a fan, we didn't know.
Right. Oh no, of
We
course
weren't
not.
judging work rate when he's in the ring with Hulk Hogan or the Honky Tonk Man or
Well, but he came out and he so full of energy and shaking the ropes and like giving, clotheslines and then jump and then hoisting people up. We had no idea he was grabbing their nutsack when he was doing all that. You know what I mean? Like he was, he was not
yeah,
very easy with the people. So I mean, we didn't know any of that, but the wrestlers did. And I
yeah.
think that's interesting because especially for the older ones who are asked a question and stuff, because like even Arn, you've seen it. It's
Yeah.
really hard for him to say anything negative about anybody.
He's
Like
not
he
one to shit
doesn't.
on people, but he
No,
the Renegade and the Warrior he didn't have a problem with.
right. I mean, he kind of just will say in elegante, like he'll say that they just, but and I think that's what we kind of see now where like those wrestlers like the Mike Rotundas and Ted DiBiase's and some of those older gentlemen that wrestled that, that was just kayfabe. You just lived with that, who would never have said anything back in the day. It's just like, well, he's the top guy. You can't really complain about him, but he's hurting me or whatever. So I just, like I said,
Yeah.
he
Well,
was definitely a wild character. So, but yes, today would have
speaking of
been
wild
his birthday.
characters, our guest at this time for the last 19 years has been promoting Bayou Independent Wrestling, but he's starting a different journey. He's now going to add author.
Exciting.
Publisher. I definitely author of a new comic book called Castle Aiden. Let's bring him in at this time.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the show, Josh Newell. How's it going, Josh?
How goes it? Thanks for having me back. I
Hey,
missed some
Josh.
Ultimate Warrior trivia there. I would have missed all the questions, but the Ultimate Warrior is the first person to make me cry in wrestling.
Made you
Because
cry?
Yeah, my mom took me to the Monroe Civic Center at age, I don't know, 6, 7. It would have been late 80s, early 90s. And I was dressed up as the Ultimate Warrior. Well, WWE canceled the show because of sales the day of.
Oh,
So I was already there, like dressed as the Warrior, running around thinking I was going to get to see wrestling. And didn't get to see wrestling. So the Warrior was the first wrestler to ever make me cry.
man.
There's some sad trivia. So
That I can't imagine having a ticket and then finding out that the event was canceled.
yeah, and I don't know. Maybe they announced it the day before, and my mom just we didn't hear about it or something.
Yeah.
We showed up anyway. I'm not sure exactly how that went down. All I
That's
remember is I was crying.
They put that in the paper back in them. There's no way to get that information out. So
Exactly.
I bet,
Exactly.
I remember the first time I went to a WWF, it was WWF, and they came through at State Fair Coliseum in Dallas, and there's about 200 people there.
Right, man. Some of those numbers back then were just crazy.
But it was their first time coming to Dallas, and
Mhm.
Hogan and Sheik. It was Hogan and Sheik, Big John Studd.
Yeah, Texas wouldn't have cared about that back then.
No, and
They
then
wouldn't
I
have
just
cared about that.
I think I popped because Ivan Putski was there.
There you go.
You and Ivan. My first wrestling show was at Rep Arena, and it definitely was not what you see nowadays. And I learned a lot because Jake the Snake was supposed to be there, and he wasn't. They told us it was because of an injury from Kamala or whatever. As we learned later, it was drugs. But Hillbilly Jim was the replacement, which we very much liked. And Zeus, so it might have been 92-ish, I guess. Zeus came out. No, not that. Anyway, Zeus came out and terrified. My sister, Callie, she couldn't have been 5. Terrified her. She got underneath the seat when he came out because of just his music and the way he looked, and he was just drooling and just, so it was quite the event. But so that was the first one I ever saw. It was not packed at all.
I think my only disappointment when I got to the arena was the time that I was going to see Kevin Von Erich challenge Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to the arena and found out Harley Race was the champion. But
I know when I was 18, I convinced 4 of my buddies to drive to Birmingham to watch an independent show of all things, and the Road Warriors were supposed to be on it. Well, they had took a booking in Japan, so they weren't there. But the promotion didn't let anybody know that they weren't going to be there. So we drove from Monroe, Louisiana to Birmingham, Alabama to not see the Road Warriors. But that in the Boutwell Auditorium is what gave me the inspiration for BIW. So it was still a trip worth doing. It's just I didn't get to see my Road Warriors. So
I heard this morning, speaking of the Road Warriors, and I'm going to Bully Ray made a really good point about the Road Warriors with the argument that they're the greatest tag team to ever do it. And he made a point that I'd never quite considered. And I think that leads, some credibility to it, that if you had the Rock and Roll Express on the card, you needed to know it was the Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnight Express. But if you had the Road Warriors on the card, you just knew the Road Warriors were there. It didn't matter who they were wrestling. They were like an attraction. They were presented as an attraction like Andre the Giant. So it didn't matter who they were wrestling, and it didn't matter if they were then they're destroying the people that every other time that you cheered for. So that they did it at the highest level everywhere they went, and didn't matter who they went against. I think that there's something to that.
I think when you start arguing the greatest tag team, especially if you narrow it down to those two, like the Road Warriors, obviously the bigger draw, but the Rock and Roll Express, obviously the better workers.
Oh, definitely.
So it kind of boils down to, if you're one of those that say Hulk Hogan is the greatest of all time, you might side with the Road Warriors. If you're one of those that say Ric Flair is the greatest of all time, you might say Rock and Roll Express. So it kind of boils down to who you are as a fan as to who you're going to say is the greatest, because it depends on if you're more of a who drew the money, the business side, who had the look, or if you're more of who delivered the better matches. And I try and be a mixture of both, which makes it really hard for me when I'm doing lists and stuff, because I appreciate the business side a lot. Me being a promoter, that's like huge to me. But I also really appreciate you being able to go out there and give me 25 minutes and it being entertaining too as a promoter. So I really appreciate the business side of it, but I also really appreciate the match side of it.
Well, I mean, if you gave me the opportunity, like I could go back in time and I would go where the Rock and Roll and the Midnight Express were wrestling.
Right.
I would probably choose that. And if it was against the Midnight Express versus Tully and Arn, would be like a no-brainer for me.
Right.
But I love the Road Warriors. I went to the Crockett Cup for just the purpose of that the Road Warriors were going to be at the Crockett Cup.
As a kid, I would have went wherever the Road Warriors were. And as an adult, I would have followed Ricky Morton wherever he was going to be selling that night.
Yeah.
So you just tell me which direction, where I'm at in my life, and that's where I would have went.
I was in the elevator at our hotel. We stayed at the Hyatt right across from the Superdome. And that's where the wrestlers were staying at the Crockett Cup. And I ended up in the elevator with the Road Warriors, and they were so physically intimidating.
Josh, did you ever get to see the Road Warriors?
In person, I got to see Animal, but I never got to see Hawk in person. Obviously, I've watched a million matches, but I've never got to see them in person together. You know, and that always made me sad because I was such a huge Japanese wrestling fan too. And over there, they're, you know, up there with the Hulk Hogan would be here. You know, they're looked at in that same light. I mean, they could main event matches as singles or tags in Japan. Animal didn't really do too many main event singles or anything, but Hawk would. Hawk would occasionally have that main event singles match over there, or do a 6-man tag with the Power Warrior and different things. And you know, that's why I went to Birmingham, Alabama, was to knock that off my bucket list.
Yeah.
And then they replaced them with who was it? Rick Steiner and Dusty Rhodes. Mind you, this is probably 2001-ish. Yeah. So, I mean, they tried. They put big names in the place of the Road Warriors.
Yeah, Dusty Rhodes has done a little something.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and especially there in, you know, Birmingham, Alabama.
Right.
That's right there in the neck of the woods where Dusty was God for a long time. But I drove 6 to 7 hours for the
Road Warriors.
Sure.
You know, Terry Funk was on that show. Buff Bagwell, Raven. So I mean, they spent money. They definitely didn't go cheap.
I always wonder how independent shows can put that many names on a card. Got to be sponsorship, doesn't it?
Back in the day, there was, you know, DVD sales and stuff like that. That doesn't really help you as much anymore, but that did help back then. Also, a lot of them lived right there in Atlanta or just outside of Atlanta. And this guy had a wrestling school and had been around a long time, Mad Dog Dan Sawyer. So, like, I bet he got some decent deals and he didn't have to fly them in, most of them. You know, they were able to just drive over. So that helps a little bit too. But yeah, for the most part, when you put that much on one show, your budget is shot, but also your fan base. Like, you could have picked any 2 of them and drew the same amount of fans that you would have drew with 6 of them. Right. So why not save 2 of them for the next show and give yourself a better chance of making money, but also a better chance of spiking attendance the next show? You know, when you bring in 6 names on one show, you already got the diehard wrestling fan at 2 or 3 names. They were coming anyway.
Right.
So you're just really hurting yourself long term, unless there's some reason behind the scenes. Maybe you were doing a convention the day after, the day before, or they were in town for something else and you could get them for cheap. Like when we brought Cody Deaner in, he was visiting family an hour from Brookhaven. So he just drove in the day of the show and we popped the crowd with, you know, Cody Deaner from TNA. And he made a few extra bucks. It didn't cost me much. We surprised our crowd. So he sold some merch. So it kind of just worked out for everybody. And those scenarios pop up a little more often than you would think.
Well, and back to DVDs, it can't hurt to have Dusty Rhodes or Terry Funk on your DVD.
No, not at all. And Mad Dog had been around a long time too. I mean, he promoted shows. He might still be promoting shows, actually. But, I mean, GCW was around forever. So he had working relationships with all those guys.
Right.
And, you know, if I called him, I was going to get one price. If Mad Dog called him, he's definitely getting a price much lower than the one I'm getting. So, I mean, that plays a part of it too. Plus, you know, they might owe you a favor or you might owe them a favor. There's a bunch of different factors.
Well, Josh, we just came off of a big show in Brookhaven. It's always Brookhaven. Such a, it's one of my favorite towns to go to for just how rabid the fan base is.
It gives me as the promoter and owner a heart attack, but yes, I enjoy it as well. I need a few days after for my heart to start beating regularly again, but you know, it's fun. It's fun.
It always cracks me up that you'll tell Rob Love not to do something and he does the opposite.
He'll not do the thing that I exactly tell him to do.
Yeah.
But he'll tweak it just a little bit and do something else. And he's like, you didn't say that one. And it's like, yeah, I didn't say that one, Rob. You're right.
Granny's going to kill him.
Well, that's the first time we'd seen her in about 2 or 3 shows. So we were glad to see her. We were a little worried there for a minute. But I'm glad she's still ticking and still coming to BIW.
Yeah, she's still feisty too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
I want to talk to you about Suge White. This guy's a beast, man.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't his BIW debut. He filled in for Angel Camacho
right
help the inner circle there towards the end of inner circle. And that's kind of where Rob met him and was impressed and like, hey, I'm bringing this guy back. And Shook, I mean, he fits that role of some people that we no longer have on the roster, an Angel Camacho or Jeremiah, you know, even a bigger guy like APOC. You know, he kind of gives us that bigger, legitimate guy that you want on your show and you want on your flyers. Because I really like a variety. I want some big guys. I want some medium guys. I want some small guys. I want to be able to give you technical wrestling. I want to be able to give you high flying. I want to be able to give you brawling. And Suge's one of those guys that can kind of help fill that roster out.
He's freaky strong.
He is, definitely.
I mean, I'm thinking, you're naming all those names. I'm thinking Vordell.
Well, Vordell's probably the strongest guy we've ever had in a pound for pound in BIW. But he would be in that next group down, I think. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Man, I that last show when him and Alex were they were tearing it up outside the ring, and I was trying to get him to get back in the ring, and he just dismissed me. Like,
yeah, I was worried about you for sure because I was out there too during that part of the chaos.
I mean, it was a heck of a shove. I went some distance. I went some distance, and I went in a trajectory that I'm not used to going. Like, I completely missed my ass and was heading for my head. It was, I mean, he sent me selling, but he didn't swing. I mean, he didn't really put a lot into it.
Oh no, he barely touched you as far.
And that's why I'm saying the dude is. I've been in the ring with him a few times because he's been working here in Mississippi a lot, and but I go back to Vordell. That I refereed Vordell and Rodney Mack once. And I mean, when I tell you that they were hitting each other so hard that I could almost feel the impact. It was like, I don't get uncomfortable in the ring very often, but I mean, like, I need them to quit hitting each other, but I'm not equipped to get in there and stop this.
Right.
Like when you have two dogs that are locked up. And so Suge's got a match coming up with Ryan Davidson, and that's the first thing that popped in my head is Vordell and Rodney Mack.
Oh yeah.
And it's just that, you know, it's been a while since we've had somebody come through, and he's going to be a threat to anybody he's in the ring with.
Absolutely. Speaking of the live bomb thing, when Vordell and Tim Storm used to fight each other for me, it felt the same. Because, like, Tim, you just can't hurt. He's a big old country boy.
Yeah. That,
like, you can hit him as hard as you want. And you can dodge his punch coming back. But you're never going to be able to hurt him.
Was it him and Vordell that tore the door off in Brookhaven?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
They're also one of my top 10 matches of all time in BIW.
Oh.
And it wasn't the same night. It was in Brookhaven, but it was a different night. They actually ended in a no contest, a double DQ. And I hate no contest usually. Like, I just don't like them. It just felt right. Like, it felt like there shouldn't be a winner and that they should just live on to fight another day.
Yeah.
And they beat the snot out of each other that particular night.
Well, I remember my first time going to Brookhaven. I parked out front because I didn't know where to park, and there was already a crowd. People show up really early.
Brookhaven's usually wrapped around the building before we open.
Yeah, I mean, they're really early this night. And hey, is Tim Storm going to be here? The last time he was here, they tore the door off this place, and I heard all about it before I ever got in the building.
Oh yeah, Tim had a concession stand brawl with John Saxon one time there, and it also was still talked about in those buildings. And that was many, many years ago.
You've seen a lot in 19 years.
Well, 17 years of Brookhaven, because we started there in 2009. So we have 17 years of that particular town and then 19 years here in West Monroe. So both of those towns have kind of been with us since the beginning. And, of course, during COVID, I could still run shows in Mississippi, but I couldn't do them in Louisiana. So I did more and more in Mississippi during COVID during that time period. So we even upped our frequency a little bit in like Brookhaven and Natchez during that time period.
Natchez, I've always enjoyed going to. I guess the further south you go, the better it gets.
I don't know. There's some shows in West Monroe that we've done that have felt just as special as Brookhaven or anywhere else. Now I don't know if that crowd is consistent as Brookhaven, but there's been some nights like Cassidy's retirement comes to mind.
Yes.
That was a special night, and not just because for Cassidy, it was a special night for a lot of those people, and you could feel it in the building, you could feel it in the room.
Yeah.
We
had that in Arkansas the night that it snowed, and we looked up and that place was just jam packed.
Yeah, the first time we were ever in Arkansas was very special. The time that Tim Storm fought Angel Camacho with Rob Love, handcuffed to Mr. Mark Morris, who's one of the sponsors there in Arkansas. That was another packed night, and he's very well known in that community, so that was special. Saline had the first time we had Dr. Death in Saline, Louisiana, was a very special night. The building shook. That was the first time I've ever been in an independent show where the building shook. Since then, I've seen it a couple times, BIW shows and other people's shows. But at that time, that was the first time that had ever happened. And I didn't know that was even possible at an independent show. So that one always stands out to me.
You want to talk about the next one coming up, or you want to?
Yeah, we can talk about tickets go on sale tomorrow. So it's just as good a day as any to talk about it.
For the West Monroe Convention Center, Saturday, July 18th, we're presenting Highway Robbery. We've been coming up with some pretty interesting titles and graphics here lately.
Well, Josh McDaniels does all the graphics. I do all the names, and I've had 19 years of doing names. So I have to get creative because I've already used so many of them. And I don't want to be one of those places that just say, this is Wrestling Shindig 7. Come check it out.
The last one that we did, with the smiling face on the DVD, on the cassette, VHS.
Right.
I actually thought that was a comic book theme.
No, he took that from a movie, I believe, like a 80s or 90s movie, I believe. He gets his inspiration from a lot of different places.
Yeah, I thought it was based on the Joker when he cut his face. He had cut his face off and used it as a mask.
Gotcha.
And that smile. And then when I noticed it was a VHS box.
Right.
But it's really interesting. I mean, they're unique. They're really good.
And I like when Josh gets unique with it and kind of does his own thing. Sometimes every now and then there might be a flyer that's a little hard to read here and there on some parts, but I'll take that. Give me some creativity, give me some uniqueness, and I'm all for that.
All right, we have a ladies match. Are we determining number one contenders or?
No, but Killer Kate is due for a rematch against Cassandra because she did lose it in that triple threat match and she didn't get pinned. Yeah. So it's one of those deals where the champion loses her belt and she didn't get pinned. So she definitely deserves a match with Cassandra, and it's on my list. It's on my things to try and get to.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine Cassidy's her favorite person in the world.
Not at all. Not at all. Special guest, one night only, Commissioner Cassidy Riley put her world on fire, and also John Saxon and Exodus Prime's world later in the night.
Yeah.
So he left an impression on his one night. Stella's making her debut. Now, beating a former champion in your debut, I can't think of a quicker way to get a title shot. So it definitely isn't a number one contenders match, but a win could mean a lot, especially in Stella's world.
Jesse the Dragonheart against Corey Steed. I'm very high on Jesse the Dragonheart. I'm excited that he's coming in.
Yeah, he's kind of one that's had a little bit of a buzz, and that buzz has picked up the last 6-7 months as he started working more places, putting more miles on the car. And I always try and pay attention to the buzz. I book real far in advance, so sometimes it takes me a little while to get around to the buzz. But I'm always listening and making notes of, okay, this guy has a little bit of a fan base. Let's take a look. And when I feel that there's a spot or that they're ready, I try and reach out and make it happen. And I'm very intrigued by this match because you'll have the energy of Jesse and the speed and making his debut. And in West Monroe, he's going to make his debut in front of 400, 500 people. We consistently are between 400 and 500 in West Monroe, so it's going to be a bigger crowd than maybe some of the shows that he's worked and different things. And then Corey's going to have him by I'm 100, 110 pounds, so it's going to be intriguing.
This match has the potential to steal the show.
Okay, I'm
I've
looking forward
been
to it.
real impressed with Jesse every time I've been around him. And then on a personal note, you don't see without, and this isn't a knock. It's just I chalk it up to experience. That sometimes these young guys have it in their mind what they want to do. Jesse listens to the crowd. He's
Right.
he's got that, and he'll give them more of what they want, less of what they don't, and you don't. You don't see that sometimes. So I'm really excited. I'm high on this kid for that reason.
That takes a while to learn. So if he's already learned that, he's way ahead of the curve. For sure.
Yeah, he's very impressive. I think this, like I said, this match could steal the show, because Corey's no slouch. He's a hell of a wrestler himself.
Yeah, ever since Corey got back from Japan, he's just taken wrestling so much more serious. He puts road. I mean, he's on the road more than just about anybody on the roster. He's lost some weight. He's upped his strength. His cardio's gotten better. Like, something happened to him when he was visiting Japan, and when he came back, different man.
This is the ultimate grudge match right here. Hunter Law's been poking Steve Anthony pretty hard for several months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's did it here at BIW, but they've also did it a little farther south, down in LWA, where they fought for a title down there too.
Yeah.
So this is one of those deals where, it's not just BIW that they hate each other. They hate each other everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if a few Lafayette people make the drive up to watch it. And I know I got some Mississippi people coming over mainly for this match. To me, and this is just my opinion, everybody has a right to disagree and to have their own opinion. These are the two best wrestlers that live in the state of Louisiana to me. These are 1 and 2 as far as technical wrestling and being able to, have different styles and variety to their game. There's a lot of great wrestlers in Louisiana, way more than when I started in 2007. So many more. But out of the active roster that lives in the state, I think these are the two best.
I'd have a hard time disagreeing. Hunter's been, since he went to Florida and came back, he has been completely different.
Yeah, I mean, he was there with Jay Lethal.
Yes,
he learned from Jay Lethal, and he didn't just do a seminar, do a class, do whatever. He ended up running the school basically for Lethal, and now he's running a school here in Louisiana. So he the technical aspect of it, he's no slouch to. But it just so happens the guy he's going up against, he ran Harley Race's wrestling school.
Yeah.
So no slouch there either.
Beat Jushin Thunder Liger in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, I think it was Bukodon actually. I mean, it was a 10 to 15,000 arena building, but I don't think his match with Liger was in the Tokyo Dome. Was
it Budokan?
I think so.
Well, that was in Tokyo.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. He picked up some wins over Tiger Mask and some other guys while he was over there too.
Yeah.
Tiger Mask is retiring soon, so he's done some amazing thing. He pretty much, while Go Shiozaki was in America, he was with Steve Anthony. This was before he would go on to be one of the top 15 or 20 greatest Japanese wrestlers of all time. He was with Steve Anthony. That's who he trained with every day. And then he would go to the airport, pick him up from the airport. And, the whole year that Go was in America, Steve Anthony was with him and teaching him and helping polish him and doing all those things. So, I mean, Steve worked with so many guys while he was at Harley's.
And speaking of Tiger Mask, I actually got to see Tiger Mask in 1986.
Wow.
He tag teamed with Giant Baba.
Man.
And they lost to Magnum TA and Ronnie Garvin. Tiger Mask did a flying body press. Magnum caught him and turned it into a belly to belly.
Nice.
It's part of the Crockett Cup. Go out of your way to go find that clip. It's incredible.
I bet. Seeing them in 86 would have been a huge deal.
Yeah. Tiger Mask was carrying the load for him and Baba.
Oh, yeah.
But to see that belly to belly, I mean, I can visualize it. 40 years later, and I can visualize it just like it was.
I mean, even in Baba's prime, I wasn't a huge fan of his actual wrestling, but what made him such a great person was just who he was. Like, he was, if he said he was going to do it, it got done.
Yeah.
There, you didn't need a contract. You shook his hand and it got done. And he stayed that all the way through. And that's what I appreciate about a man that was in such a powerful spot but still kept his dignity and pride the whole time. Because a lot of times when you get elevated and you get raised to a powerful spot, there's some demons and shadows that start lurking in, or, you want to cut corners or you want to do this. And he never did that. And that's why, like, I was a huge All Japan fan as a kid. Still am to a degree, but, it's changed a little bit over the course of time. But All Japan was definitely my first love in Japan, and Baba was a big reason for that.
Well, I'll circle back to Japan before when we get done with this. I want to get your opinion on some things. Christian Blake and Frankie Thomas.
Yeah, this is they both lost last show, so this is kind of a chance for one of them to get back on a winning track, and the other one to kind of slip out those rankings for sure. Frankie just slipped out of the top 10 after losing on the last show, and that's the first time he's been out of the top 10 in years.
Yeah, I can't remember when he wasn't.
And then Christian's always been kind of a spot 11 through 15 or 16, so maybe he could get into the top 10 with a win. But this is two, diehards of Louisiana. They've been around a long time, double-digit years for both of them. They're no, strangers to each other. They've done battle plenty before. I don't know their actual record against each other, but I would guess it's somewhere around 50-50.
I've worked with both of these guys a lot. It'd be fun to have this match with Frankie out there by himself.
Yeah, there won't be a Brittany. And then also, recently him and Wes were tag teaming, so there won't be a Wes. It'll just be, him and Blake going at it, mano a mano. And again, these are two very, I hate to say underrated at this point, because if you're a fan of Louisiana independent wrestling, you definitely know and respect both of them. But I don't think they get enough flowers a lot of times because they're both so solid.
Right.
You can put them in with somebody that's 150 pounds or somebody that's 300 pounds. And either way, you're going to get a good, solid, reliable match. It's going to be worth everybody's ticket. They're not going to be like wanting to take their popcorn break or their bathroom break during that particular match.
Well, I think the last time you were on, I even made the comparison that to me, Frankie's a modern day Buddy Roberts.
Yeah, I would put him in a similar role for sure.
And he could do everything, and
he's very consistent. He's one of the more consistent guys. Whether he's wrestling somebody that's new and he's having to do a lot of the work, or he's wrestling a veteran, or if it's a brawl or if it's a technical thing, he can just kind of do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Little tag team action. Ray Fury's returning after he's been gone for a little while. Tag teaming with our Southern champion, Alex Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal and Fury tagged together in January against Caleb Connolly and Rob Love, who made his return, and they lost that one. So this is going to be, a second crack at it to see if the two fan favorites can actually defeat Rob this time. Plus, with how we ended in Brookhaven, Arsenal feels like he owes Rob a little bit. Rob was beating him with a child's shoe there at the end of the Brookhaven show. He beat him with it for a good probably 30 seconds straight, actually.
I was asleep. I don't know. Because Rob knocked me out.
Yeah.
I just thought he was going to tell me to get out of the ring. Next thing I know, he punched me. I didn't even see it coming.
I can tell you with Rob, you never know what he's going to do. That's from the
what the best part about the video is, though? Is how Kristen walks by the ring and she didn't even check on me. She just walked by even.
Kristen has very specific orders when Rob Love's out there. Anytime Rob Love is not in the locker room, if he is not in the Brookhaven locker room, anywhere else, somebody has to be watching him at all times, and the people around him, because Rob can start an uproar in a heartbeat. and he will not shy away from it. So everybody has special orders when Rob's out there. So give her a little bit of slack on that one.
Okay. It just cracked me up. I saw her walk by and I'm like, dang, she was unfazed.
She had that tunnel vision going. She just needed to make sure Rob gets to the back without being attacked by a fan or attacking a fan, you know.
Anyway, Rob loves teaming with Dylan Scott. What do we call it? What are they calling this now?
The Bayou Kingdom.
Bayou Kingdom. I guess I'm still got Southern royalty in my head.
Well, they were around for 6-7 years, so
the Bayou Kingdom.
Yep, started in January. It's Corey Steed, Rob Love, Dylan Scott, and now Suge White.
That's a heck of a.
Yeah, I don't think there's any. Rob would be the smallest guy.
Yeah.
Corey's probably 275, 280. I imagine Suge's right around that weight. I don't know. Maybe a little more. And then Dylan's probably 250, 260. So, I mean, it's 4 pretty good sized guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Alex definitely has target on his back with this bunch.
Yeah. Anytime you win the belt, it's no easy days is the last BIW show that I had made.
They've all, I can see them, all the champions are in jeopardy at the moment.
Absolutely. Because Corey and Dylan haven't lost a match yet as a tag team. So, they're going to want their shot at Muddy Waters.
Yeah.
And that's another thing from the Brookhaven show.
And congratulations to Muddy Waters.
Exactly. They've tried to win that belt a few different times and always come up short. So that was the loudest pop of the night for sure. You can argue if it was the best match, whatever, but you can't argue that it was the loudest pop of the night.
Oh man, I was so proud. I was so proud for him, and to see when the pin was made, the way that RJW jumped up and just running laps, so excited.
That's awesome.
And I don't know, and this is just me speaking from my perspective. I don't know if it's what RJ's thoughts are, but like I have a feeling that was a really cool moment for RJ because I think at first we were using Gio a lot and not necessarily a lot of RJ. And I think he probably felt some kind of way, whether it was towards me, whether it was towards BIW, whether it was towards himself, whatever. But he's lost a lot of weight. He's improved his cardio. He's changed his confidence in the ring and how he controls the ring. And RJW's right there with Gio now. Like they're a team that complements each other perfectly. And, I think that was a big moment for them because that was probably something that RJ, when he first started with me, probably thought would never happen.
Yeah, their charisma level is. And Amy, you saw him. You were here.
Gio.
You were here when we were in Vicksburg, and you saw their charisma is just off the charts.
Absolutely, and the wrestling is getting better and better each month.
Oh, he's completely different wrestler. He's completely transformed his body.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of transforming your body, I'm gonna shout out Angel Camacho. Have you seen the recent pictures of him?
I haven't seen anything recently.
Oh my God, it's like I still don't want to take a Camacho bomb, but he's leaner and meaner. He is
like 100 pounds, right?
There's a lot of him that's not there anymore.
Wow. Good.
I knew that he was starting to take better care of himself.
Yeah, he had started that process, when he was still coming over for us and whatnot, but it was early in the stages of it.
Well, I saw him the other day. He posted a picture, and man, it was. I'm so proud of him because, I'm sure he feels better, and he didn't have choice. He had to.
Angel's a good dude. I wish him nothing but the best.
But he's legit 460 when I met him.
Oh yeah.
All right. So that's that card. July 18th. You said tickets are going on sale tomorrow. Where can they get them?
2:00. They'll be at Coldwell Banker Group 1 here in West Monroe on Cypress Street. But you can also cash out. If you need that cash app information, just let me know. Look up Josh Newell on Facebook. or you can text me 318-355-1301. And we do have Cash App available because we do have a lot of people that drive in from different states, different cities, and whatnot. So if you want that advanced price, I definitely don't mind helping you out.
Well, you won't be disappointed. No, I don't believe that I've ever. Well, I'm not going to just say for West Monroe. Nobody's ever left a Bayou show not feeling like they got their money's worth.
I think, the first few years, there were probably some shows where they might have not got their money's worth. But since then, I definitely feel like we do our best to give everybody their money's worth. And we've stayed very fair pricing, 15 in advance, 20 at the door. There's so many independents that bring in talent with lesser experience and resumes than we do that charge a lot more than that. But we've always tried to stay at a fair price to be able to bring the family, come have a good time, and know that you're going to get your money's worth, no matter if you drove 5 minutes to the building or 5 hours to get to the building.
It's I've been with you now for 12 years. I think 2014.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think 2014 is when I started working for you. And I mean, I've never left there thinking that. I mean, I've been on some shows before that we didn't give our best effort. I don't think our best effort was put through, or I can see like, man, it's going to be hard coming back. And it's been a long time since that's happened, but I've never felt that way with BIW. Wrestling today, you can't get away with that anymore. You're not gonna be around long if you do that. I think I don't know how you feel about it, but it seems like from what I've seen in my travels, independent wrestling's stronger right now than it's ever been.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of good shows out there now, and if you're going to stand out or at least be talked about amongst that group, you definitely have to bring a certain level of quality. I lose a lot of sleep on BIW shows. I'll book the show and then I'll go, I don't know if that's good enough, and then I start over the next day, or I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and I go, oh wait, let me do this, and I'm always worried about would I buy a ticket to it? Is this enough? Do I need to do a little bit more? Do I need to, do I need to reach out and try this or that? And I worry about that still. And we're talking 19 years in, 200 shows or give or take a few, and I still worry about that every single day. My wife laughs at me because I'll get up in the middle of a show and I'll be like, wait, got a wrestling thought. And I'll go type something on the computer and she'll be like, what is wrong with you, you crazy psycho? And I'm just like, hold on now. I don't want to lose it. And she's like, you're going to think about it nonstop the next 24 hours. You're not going to lose the thought.
You can destroy your reputation quicker than you can build it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there were so many people that tried to run me out of wrestling the first few years because, the territory days were obviously over by the time I came around. But there was a lot of guys that were still a part of those days that were at the end of their careers when I started. And they didn't like a 20-something-year-old that had no wrestling background, no experience coming in and promoting shows. So I can't tell you how many people threatened me, tried to get me to stop, sent me nasty messages. So many people.
Yeah.
And looking back, I kind of deserve some of it. Like I was trying to be somewhere that I had no business to be. But there are exceptions to every rule. And over time, I think I proved myself. And those same people that gave me a hard time at first stopped after, year 4, year 5, year 6. And getting their validation at year 6 or year 7, when they were the ones that threatened me at year 1 and year 2, made me feel really good. So, maybe some of it was unnecessary, but some of it probably was necessary, to be honest with you. So I'm glad that some of it happened. My wife might differ because there were nights that I was very upset and, she didn't like that, obviously. So she would differ opinions on that, but I kind of liked some of the tough love.
Yeah. She's going to hang on to it a lot longer than you do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She'll want to fist fight you a lot longer. I can go drink a beer with you and I can probably get over it, but Krista, not so much.
Yeah. I see you got a hashtag Ask Josh, Matthew. Go ahead and put your question in there and I'll be glad to ask him. Let's move on to let's table. Oh, before we table wrestling, New Japan has recently sold, and now they're owned by a media company. Does this concern you? That because I know you're a huge fan of Japanese wrestling, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if a television company it's good for them to own wrestling. I mean, corporate wrestling does not. I'm trying. I don't think WWE's as good under TKO as it was under Vince as far as product that was put out. But I can't argue their success and their money making. Like I'm a shareholder. My money has doubled. I can't fault what they're doing from a business standpoint. But I don't think corporate wrestling always works. I think WCW was a prime example. You know what I'm saying? But you always could count on New Japan to be very, very high quality when they put something out. And now I'm concerned if they're just going to be looking for content.
Yeah, I'm not as into New Japan as I was, but I did hear about all that. That particular media company has owned a certain level of stock this whole time. So it's not like they weren't involved previously. So they're more involved now. They're a primary now instead of a minority. But I don't know if it's going to change them too much. Plus, doing business in Japan is different than here. Like it's just a whole different animal. And that's why somebody like Tony Khan probably couldn't have came over and tried to purchase New Japan.
Right.
Because they don't want American, like, as an American, you're not going to come over there and own this wrestling company. No matter how much money you offer, no matter what, there's going to be too much red tape. So I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a bad thing. I think it's too early to tell. Now, their first big show after all the belts changed hands. So I don't know what that means exactly. It definitely could be a reboot of some kind. But pretty much all the belts changed hands at Dominion, which was their first big show since the announcement.
Yeah, notice they got it off the global championship came off of Andrade.
Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll know more in probably the next 4 to 6 weeks or so. We'll kind of have a better vibe of what's going on, what the long-term plans are, and different things. But I wouldn't be as worried. I don't think it's going to be a TKO WWE thing where so many things change and all that. I think it'll be more business as usual. There might be some subtle changes and stuff, but I think it'll pretty much stay on the same path we're used to. And like the business thing with TKO, the fan of you probably doesn't like it, but the business part of you understands it.
Yeah.
It's just, that's hard because obviously we were fans first, but the goal is to make the most amount of money possible. So it's just a weird thing.
Yeah. I don't get mad at anybody for making money, but a family of 4 can't go to wrestling matches.
No. Well, what I wish they would
not without. I mean, it's just not like if WWE came to Jackson, there was always option to buy 4 tickets, and you could always get 4 tickets. It didn't make sense for me and Tep to go to a show when I could buy 4 tickets and take the grandkids for almost the same money, and they were good seats.
I would love to see something more like your WrestleManias and your big pay-per-views. Charge whatever you want. Like, that's on you. Make your money, do what you got to do. That can be special for the people that will fly in from all over the world. But do a house show circuit that's affordable. Make that the one where you can bring your kid, you can bring your uncle, you can bring your cousin, and create those memories still, and at least have that available to people. Still make your money and gouge on the pay-per-views if you want, fine. But have a circuit to where on these house shows, you can buy that $25, high seat to bring your son or whoever. I would love to see them kind of take up a model to where TV tapings are kind of medium priced, pay-per-views are high priced, and house shows are low priced. And just see if it brought in more fans and in the end, maybe more money.
I think that you can't put a price on the connection that the fans get with the wrestlers at a house show or a live event, whatever you want to call it. I mean, my grandkids are going to be Cody Rhodes fans for life because he took a minute to come talk to them, got their phones, took selfies. They feel that way about Braun Strowman. They feel that way about the New Day. I mean, it's just everybody that took a minute with them.
Yeah, that's why house shows are so great, because they have that flexibility and that freedom. So make that the one that's extra kid friendly. Make that's the one that's family affordable. Make that's the one where special needs, disabilities, all these different things, you reach out and you bring groups in at fair, good prices. And then you create people forever that'll follow you as much as they can.
Yeah. And that's why I tell everybody that they need to take advantage of supporting independent wrestling, because you're going to get, when you come to BIW, you're going to get most times 6 very, very good matches. Like the first match out there is not a throwaway match. It ain't like the old days where we're going to do this to let everybody get in their seats. No, I mean, out the gate, like match 2, I mean, match 1 comes back till the match 2. Now y'all try to follow that.
Right. And see, we only have 5 or 6 matches. I always promise people 2 hours.
Right.
Wrestlers get so mad at me because they'll want to drive, 10 hours and do a dark match, and they'll volunteer to work for free. They're going to wrestle before the show even starts, blah, blah, blah. To me, there's no such thing as a dark match. I still have paying customers that bought a ticket that are going to be there. Will they all be there? Maybe not. But there's still going to be some people that bought a ticket in the building to see your so-called dark match.
Right.
I need the first opinion of these people to be, this is legit, edge of my seat. I'm here. This is good independent wrestling. So I can't let you go out there and just do a match. I don't want you to go out there and just do a match. I don't care what the budget is, the price is. And I know that hurts some people's feelings because they're like, dude, we'll help set up the ring. We'll tear down the ring. We're going to drive 8 hours to come to you. You don't have to pay us. We just want a chance to show you. And I've probably lost some good opportunities to see some really good talent because of my stance on it. But I don't believe that there's a dark match. That would still be the opening bout, and that would still be people's first impressions, and that would still be people's first thoughts. So no, I decline. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend you, but I don't want your dark match. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you how many people have gotten mad at me in my messages because of that over the years. And, and I know there's a lot of places that do allow the dark matches and different things and student matches and whatnot. And I think there's a place for it. It's just, we're not that place.
Right. Well, it's always a bargain. I mean, compared to what any of that are on television are charging. I mean, you can bring a family of 4 or 5 to a BIW show for which you can go to even a TNA or an MLW or AEW. So by all means, you should do that. And I tell everybody this, that the people that you're seeing today could be the people that you're seeing on television tomorrow.
Oh yeah, and a lot of times we have people that have been on NWA
or that they've been on their back,
TNA or wherever, or had tryouts, or we bring in the level of talent that's had those opportunities on most of the shows. So if you're a diehard wrestling fan, you probably will say, "Oh, I saw him on an MLW taping, or I saw him on an NWA taping, or oh, he did a WWE match one time, blah blah blah." Like, we have those people too. So not only are you going to be able to do it at affordable, you're going to see some people that are on the radar of those companies, or even have already worked for those companies.
Well, we've had Matt Taven in.
Oh yeah, I mean the list.
Taven in more than once, and when you think about it, Matt Taven won the World Heavyweight Championship in Madison Square Garden, and I almost feel certain that I could say, as far as wrestling goes, there's never been another wrestler, not that was not WWE, that won a world championship in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely a huge moment. He's won titles in Japan and Mexico.
Right. I mean, just saying that. I mean, this guy has done things, and he's been with us, and he's and been on TV.
Just on WWE alone right now, Roxanne Perez has worked for BIW. Ray Rowe from the Viking Raiders has worked for us. Ricky Starks has worked for us. I feel like I'm missing one or two.
Thunder Rosa's worked for you?
Yeah, if you go over to AEW, Thunder Rosa, Lance Archer. You know, and that's just the current. Mike Bennett's been with us, Matt Taven, Heidenreich, Rodney Mack, you know, Dr. Death, Danny Hodge, Skandar Akbar, Pork Chop Cash, Ted DiBiase, One Man Gang, Skandar Akbar. If you're into the old school stuff, Tim Storm, former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Kiera Hogan, who's on AEW and Ring of Honor stuff. We've had so many.
We've had
people.
Maya World in, haven't we?
Yeah, Maya World, Hyann, both
I mean,
been in for us. So we've had a ton of people that you've seen on your television screen come
and
in.
Caleb Conley, look what Caleb Conley's doing right now. He's tearing it up for JCW.
Yeah, Caleb Conley, Cody Diener. Man, I'm trying to think. There's been so many. Ace Austin. There's been so many TNA guys that have been in for us over the years. Richard Holliday's been in for us.
Who's the big guy? God, it's on the tip of my tongue. And I brag about this match, being a part of this match. Him and Angel.
Larry D.
Yeah, Larry D.
Well, the same night Larry D was in, Mike Bennett was in, and him and Danny Chance also had an amazing match.
Yeah.
So that was just an incredible night of wrestling for us. Davey Richards has been in for us, you know, from the old school Ring of Honor days and TNA as well, but mainly the Ring of Honor stuff. So we've just had so many over the years. I mean, it's 19 years of history, so you're bound to catch some stuff here and there. But we've had a long list of guys come in for us and work for sure.
And a lot of times you don't know how good, like you take Mike Bennett. What they show you on TV is not what he can do.
No, Mike Bennett's a beast.
Man, he tore it up that night.
But you can go back and watch some of his Ring of Honor stuff, and he'll show you he's a beast. Where if you just saw like his WWE run,
or you catch him on a house show, if you caught him on a house show, you got to see what he could do. Because even with the red beard, they've been calling him Redbeard for a while now. With the White family, Eric Rowan.
Yeah,
man, if they put the Eric Rowan on the house shows on television, it would have been completely different. Like you'd see him at a house show, and you're like, "Where's this on Monday night?"
Absolutely. And Mike Bennett's one of those guys that if you really search, you can find as many 4- and 5-star matches as you want. But if you just go by some of the TV stuff, maybe you're not a big fan. But Mike Bennett is a beast. I can 100% tell you that.
Matt, I'm going to give him your question. We're fixing to start talking comics, and I'll get your question in just a minute, Mike. But Josh Rosenbaum has it interesting. What's the toughest part of promoting an indie in 2026?
Toughest part. I would say just trying to make sure you stay profitable so that you can move on to the next one. Because a lot of people kind of blow their wad on one show, and then you can't get to the next show because you spent too much money on one. And then just like with the life in general, cost has went up on everything.
Yes.
So my building cost is higher. My insurance cost is higher. The wrestler's gas cost is higher. Food cost is higher. Just everything. If I fly somebody in, that's more expensive. Hotels are more expensive. So just everything's more expensive. And you add that up in one spot, maybe it wouldn't hurt you, but you do that times 12 things got more expensive. And next thing you know, the budget is $600 to $800 higher than it was last year at the same exact card, same exact time. And maybe last year you only made $750 on the show. And now you're saying the budget's $800 higher. Well, if you go back and do the same thing, and I haven't went up on ticket prices, so where am I going to get the extra money? Now we're going to lose money or break even.
Right.
And that's just hard to do. I mean, it's so much work to lose money or break even. And it happens, you know, it doesn't happen as often as it used to, thank God. But it does still happen. I mean, there's definitely nights where we go into it thinking everything's going our way and we end up losing $1,500. And, you know, I'm not extremely wealthy. So when I lose $1,500, I'm going to be crying somewhere.
Oh, yeah. I imagine Kristen cries a little bit too.
Oh, not anymore. She just looks at me. She squints those eyes and it's just like, wow, would we still be doing this?
You know, I got one just like her.
I know. They're a lot alike. I've seen them both when they're being nice, and I've seen them both when they're being mean. And I'm scared of both.
Yeah. All right, you got a neat concept coming, project coming up, and that and I know you're passionate about it. Let's talk about Castle Aiden.
Yeah, we've got a comic book coming. This is gonna wrestling and comics. I mean, fans of both have been linked together since the beginning. So I definitely think a lot of our wrestling fans will enjoy this too. But I'm definitely not going away from the wrestling. This doesn't mean that there's not going to be BIW shows. It's just another adventure, another project. I'm always trying to do something, stay busy. But yeah, this is my first attempt at a comic book. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, I would definitely recommend this because it's going to be kind of medieval times with knights and kings and dragons and different supernatural elements will be added in later too. But we're going to try and tell some fun stories and keep everybody on the edge of the seat just like we do with wrestling.
Let me go to the next. I love this cover.
Yeah, this cover here is actually done by somebody that's worked for what in comics you call the Big Two, which is Marvel and DC Comics. He worked on Superman for a while back in the late 90s, early 2000s. He also worked on Venom. If you ever read the License to Kill miniseries, this is the artist from that miniseries. So I got him to do a cover for issue 1 here. And I can't go into too much detail, but this guy here goes through some trials and tribulations in the issue. And this is kind of him at his wit's end trying to figure out which way his life's about to go. And this here, that's kind of credits to everybody that worked on this first book. I wrote it, came up with the concept and the thoughts and everything. Jason Turner is my artist. On this one, he's doing the pencils, inking, and coloring. But on the next one, we found somebody else to do the coloring to kind of take a little bit of the workload off of him. But he's out of Jackson, Mississippi. He's actually a big Ray Fury fan himself, so he's a wrestling fan. Also a musician, great artist. And then Jason Hall, he's doing the lettering. Very, very important, which is something in comics. I don't think everybody realizes how important the lettering is. And then down below, we're going to have 3 covers for every single issue. So Jason's doing one of the covers, DJ's doing a cover, and then that one in the middle was the one you just showed, which is Derek Donovan, who you can Google him. He's worked on Superman, he's did Green Lantern, he's did Venom, he's did a lot of stuff because he started in comics in the late 90s.
Have you ever watched a comic artist just take a pencil and sketch?
Yes, and it starts off like, what is that?
Yeah.
About 30 seconds later, it's where are they going with that? I thought they were going to draw a horse.
I got a guy to draw me a Batman once, and it was incredible. My stepson has it now, and I can't remember that artist's name to save my life. But it's just because I'm old. It's neat watching them do that. How it just starts, and
I'm going to get Jason to come to some wrestling shows and kind of do sketches at intermission and stuff, maybe of different wrestlers.
Oh, cool.
And maybe $50 or $100. I mean, he'll set his own price.
Yeah.
But I'll have him come in and maybe do some sketches. He could probably do 5 to 10 sketches in the amount of time at the wrestling show. So if somebody wanted like a Ray Fury sketch and it gets signed by Ray Fury and Jason, they could do that, or whoever's at that particular show. I've already talked to Jason a little bit about it, and his schedule's crazy because he does a convention just about every weekend. But he is going to make time to come to either West Monroe or Brookhaven and do it for us.
See, once upon a time, Comic-Cons were mostly comic driven.
Oh, yeah. The one they just had this last weekend in Charlotte called Heroes Con is one of the few that still exists that is comic 100%. Like, it's locked in on comics. Most of them now have a lot of voice actors and pop culture stuff and movies and different things with a little bit of comics sprinkled in. But Heroes Con is one of the ones where it's the real deal. Like, if you're into comics, it's one of the ones to go to. I hope to make it next year when we have our books going strong.
They used to have one in Dallas the day after Thanksgiving, the Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving every year.
And Texas still has some good cons. They really do.
But back then, you would go to the comic cons with, like, if you needed books, you had your list and you were going through back issues. And I had Batman and Detective. I had every issue from 1980 to 1994, 95. I mean, I
still
had
have
them
all that
all,
stuff?
but I got down, and I don't have any more.
Okay.
No, no, my stepkids. I recognized that they were going to destroy my comic book collection, and I sold them while I could. But when I sold it, I probably had 10,000 comic books.
Right.
But I had all of Batman and Detective that ran consecutively, but I needed one issue, just one issue. And when I got AOL, I found that issue at Mile High Comics in Colorado. Paid $115 for a comic book just to finish the collection.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And there's comic books out there that are, that could put your kids through college if you happen to have one.
Yeah.
It's not the majority of comics, but there's definitely out there. Like right now, Invincible is really popular because of the animated show. If you have like the original Invincible run, a lot of those are worth money. And then people think it's number ones, and a lot of times number ones are worth money, but it's usually a first appearance of somebody that's worth a lot of money. So if you can get the first appearance of Catwoman or the first appearance of Superboy, those are a lot of times the ones that are worth big bucks.
Did you hear the story recently that a woman had told her kids that she had some comic books in the attic, and they left her house vacant for a few years after she died, and they finally went to clean her house out, and they found these comic books, and Action number 1.
Wow.
Action number 1 graded out at a 9.
Wow.
She had not only she had bought it as a child, but she had kept it and stored it where it wouldn't degrade.
Right.
It scored out at a 9, and they sold it for over $6 million.
Wow.
And I mean, it's set up there, and there was other comic books up there.
Yes.
But there's a little girl, she went and bought this comic book at the store.
Wow. It's crazy. None of mine are worth anywhere near that, or they would have already been sold. So BIW would have a new sponsor. But yeah, and that's one of the black and white pages there. So what Jason does is he sends me a page before it's colored. So he'll do the pencils and the ink, and then he sends it to me for approval. And I either say yes, no, or maybe what about this? Or, we might tweak something a little bit. But once I say yes, he goes back and he colors the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the black and white, which I'll see first, and then I'll see the colored version that 2 or 3 days later. And sometimes I'll get him to do something with the color as well, but usually most of our discussion is on the black and white pencil and ink page. Once we get to the colors, we're pretty much set in stone of what we're trying to do and what we want to do.
I'm really intrigued. I love the style of art. I mean, I like the way that he's drawn their faces, and
yeah, I learned something on the. I told him I love his king, like King Marcus, which is who that is, with his son there, Leland. But I said, I love your king. He's so detailed. Your Leland, the son, isn't as detailed, but I still like him, and you do good with his facial expressions and different things. And he told me you have to be careful on the details of kids, because the more details you do, the older they'll look.
Oh,
so it makes perfect sense once he said it out loud to me. But as a non-artist, when I was just looking at the work, I was like, oh, Leland's not as detailed as, Marcus. He still looks great, but he's not as detailed. And there's a reason for that. If he put a lot of details in, he would have wrinkles and lines, and he would look older. So he wouldn't look like a 16-year-old.
Is he a good kid or is he an asshole?
What was it?
I said, is Leland a good kid or an asshole?
No, he's a good kid.
Okay.
He's a good kid. The moral of this whole story that we plan on telling for a long time, if we get the support, because I have tons of issues in my head already, is that this man is going to be trying his hardest to teach his son to be a good man and a good king in a bad world. So there's going to be a lot of bad going on around these two, but at the heart of it, they're both going to be always trying to do what they feel is right. And
he's got a little Joffrey vibe about him. That's why I asked.
No, he's going to be a good guy. He's a good guy, at least for now. This early version of Leland.
Sammy said, "Were you a good kid, Dave?" Actually, Sammy, I was. I mean, I was mischievous, but but I was scared of my parents. I mean, I
And I
didn't
can
want to
tell
get in
you,
trouble, but
I can tell you, Leland is scared of his dad too.
yeah, I mean, my sister'd sneak out the window and leave. I would not. But
And see, I can write a script in
I wasn't a
a
perfect
week.
kid. I tried to get away with some stuff.
Me too. I can write a script in a week, but what people don't realize, this art, it takes him about 6 to 8 weeks to do one comic book. You know, because he's going to spend anywhere from minimum 7 to 8 hours to possibly up to 14 hours on this page that you're seeing. That's how long it's going to take the artist to do what he has to do. So as a writer, you kind of feel bad sometimes because you're like, is there anything I can do to help while I'm waiting? Like,
Do
I
you
feel
get?
sad.
Are you going to get a few in the can so there's some continuity?
Yeah, we go to Kickstarter. Issue 1's done. We've already started issue 2. I've already had pages for issue 2 turned into me and approved. So issue 1's done. We go to Kickstarter July 14th, and that'll run for a month. So it'll end around August 14th. And then we'll have about a month to 6 weeks that it takes us to get things printed, to get things mailed out. So people should start getting issue 1 around end of September. By then, we should be well into issue 3. Probably won't be done with issue 3, but we should be more than middle of the way on issue 3. So we're going to try and stay ahead best we can. And I mean, some of it's going to also depend on if people like it or not, because this first one I completely funded before we've sold one issue of it. You know, so I've already paid the artist, I've already paid the letterer, I've already paid the cover people. So I'm out over $4,000 already, and I'm not going to possibly start getting my money back till the end of September. So, and we've already started issue 2, so I'm going to be out X amount of dollars on issue 2. So by the time we sell one issue, I'm probably going to be $7,000 to $8,000 in on a project. So I definitely have to see, you know, is the love going to be there? Is the response going to be there? Before we get too deep into it. But I have the first, let's see, 5 issues wrote on my computer screen right now, and I've started issue 6. I also have 3 other concepts for different comics listed here, and another novel. I have a novel wrote as well that'll come out this year too, but that'll probably be November, December for the novel.
What's your novel about?
The novel is called Sold. It is a former detective turned real estate agent, which I'm a real estate agent, so I have a little bit of insight on that side of things. But it's based here in Louisiana, Monroe. So I'm definitely telling stories about stuff I know. None of it's, you know, it's fiction. So nobody needs to get too worried or offended or anything like that. It's definitely fiction. But I am speaking of stuff that I know about, whether it's real estate or this area or different things. So that one, it's a failed detective turned real estate agent, and he was trying to get away from using his detective skills and really wanted to focus on real estate. But one of his colleagues is killed, and him as a former detective, all his colleagues want him to come out and do more. You know, they want him to look into this personally because they know he has connections and he has the ability to solve it and protect his colleagues and different things. So he kind of got back into the detective side of things here in book 1. And it's called Sold, but I have books in mind for several others, like Sold to the Lady in the White Dress, Sold to the Man That Owned the Cabin, just different ones that all have sold in the title. So if it works, I have probably 5 or 6 in my head that I want to do.
Awesome.
And then the other one that I've started working on is called The Old Ball Scout, which is going to be a baseball scout. But he's an older man, and he grew up in the 60s, 70s, in different time frames. So he's racist. And he ends up helping this young black pitcher make it to the majors by the end of it. But we're going to go through some stuff before they become friends. So it's going to be an interesting little story too.
Well, let's go back to your Kickstarter. What's this? I mean, are you going to have like different levels with some incentives on each level?
Absolutely. So we're actually meeting Friday to start building the Kickstarter, and we'll probably do a pre-launch into the month, early July, but it'll actually go live July 14th. You'll be able to get whichever cover you want. There's going to be 3 different covers. You could also get all 3 covers if you just really wanted to. If you wanted to like be a collector, you could get all 3 covers. We're going to have bookmarks. We're going to have T-shirts. We're going to have that's one of the shirts there. And then on the back of it is another one of our covers. Not that one, but yeah, that is on the back of that first design. So that's actually a cover for issue 1 as well. So you can get that in comic book form or on a T-shirt, whichever way you would rather do it. So we're going to have T-shirts. We'll have bookmarks. We'll have trading cards.
We need a lithograph of this.
Yeah.
That'd be a heck, like for a big money investor. A limited,
Absolutely.
signed and numbered lithographs.
Yep. Well, then we're going to do all sorts of stuff. There's going to be goals on there where if we meet them, you might get a call from me personally or the artist, or we might draw you into issue 2. There's just so many different things we can do, to get you involved in the process and get you falling in love with the Castle Aiden world like we slowly are.
Amy, didn't you get drawn into a comic book?
I did. I got drawn into Arn's comic book.
Awesome.
I did. I'm a huge fan in the book.
You have a signed copy of this?
I do.
Okay. I was about to say, you better have a signed copy of this.
Yes, I do. Trying to think of it's over here. Yes, I do.
So the Kickstarter is going to be on the 14th, but then on the 16th, we got some exciting news. Josh kind of dropped a hint that I have a new podcast.
Yeah, I'm going to put you to work. Not that you already weren't busy, but now on Thursdays, I'm going to lock you up for an hour and a half every Thursday, and we're going to
mark out moments.
We're going to talk some wrestling, some comics. We'll probably work in some food because people are always talking about the travels that I do with food and whatnot. So we'll probably work into some food, and we'll do some fun little things. And
but I'm excited to talk about comics. I got back into comics just by accident because I happened to see that I'd heard on the news that they were going to kill Robin. There was a 1-900 number that you called.
Yep.
Hang on, I'm going to bring this up real quick. Sammy Wright, who's going to be with us in Brookhaven later this year?
Yeah.
Was that okay for me to tell that?
Oh yeah, he'll be on the November 7th Brookhaven show.
Yeah, Sammy Wright's coming to BIW, and I'm excited about this because y'all have heard me endlessly talk about how my love of Sammy Wright. He is so talented. Josh, if you ever need another artist, you should check with Paul Riles and see if he'd be interested. He's very talented. I've seen some of Paul's drawings. He is very talented. And he has a passion for comics as well.
Awesome. Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of things because Castle Aiden is obviously my number one thing, but I have 3 other comics that I'm working on. One's a wrestling comic. One's kind of a psychology, psych type Stephen King level comic, and the other's like an Indian reservation Oklahoma cop comic. So we got a wide variety of things that we're trying to do.
Well, like I was saying, what got me into them was that the 1-800 number, whether Robin lived or died. So I went to the comic book store and said, I hear that Robin died. And I bought the trade paperback to The Death in the Family. Yep. And then I'm reading this and I'm like, wait, that's not Dick Grayson.
Nope.
So then I had to go back and find out, why is Dick Grayson not Robin anymore?
You've missed a couple Robins.
Yeah. And then, so I was there. I read, and then I saw where Dick had gone off to the Titans and became Nightwing, and then the whole Jason Todd thing, and then we got where that Joker had beat him to death with a crowbar, and then we bring in Tim Drake.
This is original art from Nightwing back in 1996 that I bought from the artist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this wasn't cheap. But Nightwing is the comic that I first fell in love with comics. So I wanted to get a piece of art from it. But yeah, this is Nightwing 1996 when Nightwing first got his own comic book.
Yeah, Dick Grayson's my all-time favorite comic book character.
Well, He's had some epic stories.
He has.
Some of the best writers in comics history have tackled Nightwing.
And then I'll tell you another one that's really just a normal man. I love The Question.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But Vic Sage, not Montoya. Vic Sage, The Question. That
Gotcha.
first 51 issue run where he was in Hub City, and I wish James Gunn, because they got the technology now to, cause The Question he was a news reporter, but he would put a mask on, but he didn't have a face. He
Right.
did it with some kind of compound, and it would just cover his face, so he had no eyes, nose, or mouth. And he was fighting organized crime, and his girlfriend was the mayor, I believe, and it was just such a good story. I wish James Gunn would do something with The Question.
Question just popped up in a miniseries teaming with Batman and Green Arrow here recently.
Oh, so my love of comic books goes back, and I mean, and I couldn't wait for New Comic Day,
Right.
and I mean,
And
then I got off into Marvel, and I was like the whole Todd McFarlane Spider-Man run, and I was reading the Hulk, and I was reading Nomad, and then I mean, just constantly into these characters, and it was so much fun for me to just and then I would get into comic art. I've got portfolios like and then I'd buy the portfolios with the like kind of like what you had there. And so I'm excited for you, Josh, and I'm excited to go on this ride with you.
Yeah, it's gonna bring back some memories for you.
But you're probably gonna have me back in the comic book stores.
Well, you have one right up the road in Vans, is right there in Jackson, and it has a lot of good stuff.
I know, but Van did some. They pissed me off one time. Well, no, I mean, like with something. I think it was there was a big issue coming out. It might have been Action 1000. It might have been Detective 1000. It was.
Now, how long ago was this?
This a few years.
Okay.
But you know, if you got a subscription that you get
Right.
your comic books, they get a percentage off if you're a subscriber.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'd gone in there because I was looking for a different cover. They had multiple covers.
Right.
And his subscribers he was upcharging them.
Hmm.
And I saw him do it, and I thought it was shitty, and it made me mad.
Now, sometimes on those variant covers, they do cost more because of said artist. You know, they might get a A-level artist to do a cover for something, and they had to pay extra to get A-level artists to do a cover. So thus the cover for that one is, $7.99.
Yeah,
Mark,
if I had never been in your store and you're marking them up, I get it. But if you're, but when you got pre-orders and you're doing it to your pre-order guys,
right?
I thought, but no, they're a very good comic book store. I used to go to, there was another one out there, and I went to them until they closed. And I can't think of the name of it. I hate that. I'm so horrible with names now.
I'm not good at names either. So,
but I used to really enjoy doing business with him. And but I've been to Vans. And I hate going in there because he's got so much cool stuff. Because then I gotta have statues and
right.
And it gets out of control.
See,
and I get mad at myself though. I get mad at myself on that multi-cover gimmick. Because I feel that's when it gets to where if I can just go get them and read, I like to read. And it was easier when I could do it on my iPad because then I would just read them and I didn't have to leave the house. But there's something about actually holding the physical comic book in my hand that I enjoy. But then when it's like Pokemon, I got to catch them all. And I get caught up in those variant covers and then I get mad at myself because I get hooked in.
I always get one cover, but I do pick the cover I like the best. So I kind of treat that as my little Merry Christmas or whatever. I still look at all the covers and I enjoy them all. But then part of the fun is narrowing it down to the one that I'm ranking, the best. And then I get that one because, in the end, as a writer and been doing wrestling forever, it is the story that draws me in the most. So if the comic is going to have the same story underneath each cover, I really only need one of it personally. But I do like to pick the cover. That's part of the fun. Me and my wife will go through and be like, this cover, because she reads comics too. So we that's part of our fun is Mondays usually we'll narrow it down to which covers we like the best, and then I'll let my comic book guy know, and then he'll order that particular one for us. So
we're gonna come up with a name, and we're gonna go on Thursdays, and we're gonna start this on July 16th, 2 days after the kickstart.
Yep. And of course we'll be talking comics, but we'll also talk wrestling, and not just BIW. It might be a chance for me to talk about some other independent companies that I don't get to speak on too often, or some Japan stuff that not many people know about, or we might talk some food, or we might just talk about weird stuff that me and Dave have done.
Let me ask you Matt Presley's question before I forget.
Yeah.
Match some wrestlers to their comic book video game counterpart. For example, Ultimate Warrior would make a good Lion-O from Thundercats. Yokozuna would definitely be a good E Honda. I don't know who that is.
E Honda was in Street Fighter. He was the sumo wrestler with he could do the slap where he slapped you like 1,000 times.
Okay. Now I know who you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. So is there a certain wrestler we're matching, or just?
No, he's saying if there's any come to mind.
Man, Castle Aiden, not so much, not my particular thing. But when I'm talking about just wrestlers in general and known comic book characters, I'll tell Alex Arsenal all the time that I need you to be our Superman, because sometimes he would want to be Batman. And I said, I don't want you to be Batman. I want you to be Superman. I need every decision that you make to be one that everyone in the building knows is a right and pure decision. I don't want there to be gray area. Where with Batman, there is a lot of gray area. There is a lot of grit. There's a lot of dark. There's a lot of things. And he's still a babyface. Batman's probably a more popular babyface than Superman, to be honest. But he does things one way. I wanted Arsenal to be our Superman. So, bullet on the chest, always right, never shaking, always keep your morals high. So that's something that I always tell Arsenal, probably 4 out of 5 shows. I tell him, if Superman wouldn't do it, you don't do it. And, I'm sure he thinks, what is this guy talking about, freaking Superman? But I tell him that all the time. And then with somebody like Steve Anthony, he gets to do the cool Batman stuff because he can go out there and be a little grittier. He can do a little edgier. He can do whatever. So he gets to do the more fun stuff, as I like to say, because I prefer Batman over Superman. But, so there's definitely moments where the comic book characters and their overall presentation comes to life.
So is Barrett Brown Nightwing?
At his size,
or Matthew Palmer?
I'm gonna call Barrett. I would like to call him Robin, but he's not a sidekick to anybody. He's too dang good to be a sidekick to anybody.
That's why I said Nightwing.
But he's too no.
Nightwing's not a sidekick.
No, but he's real acrobatic-y, and he's tall and slender, and Barrett's shorter than me. Barrett's like 5'6". So I just can't picture him as Nightwing. Who would be Nightwing? Gregory James would be a Nightwing.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that.
I could see Gregory James being a Nightwing.
I'm going to tell you, when I saw the picture of the King in Castle Aiden, it made me think of, are you familiar with Crimson?
Oh, yeah. TNA wrestler. Yeah, there is some resemblance. I know character-wise, I got a lot of inspiration for him from Ned Stark from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
That's the kind of man he's going to try and be. So if you were a fan of Ned in Game of Thrones, you'll probably like Marcus. Obviously, there's going to be some differences and some, he is not Ned, but that is definitely somebody that I took some inspiration for when writing him.
Have we lost you, Amy?
No, I'm listening.
I see her head bobbing. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm listening. I don't do much with comic books, so I'm listening. And
we've gone full nerd mode over here.
Not yet, okay. Amy. Not yet.
That's right. That's why I'm listening. I'm always listening and learning. I'm always good to learn something new.
We're gonna have you in the comic world in no time. I mean, you're already in a comic book. So
that's very true. I am in a comic book.
I'm trying to think who would be Guy Gardner.
Let's see.
Hey, I'd call Sammy Wright. I'd call Sammy Wright Tim Drake though.
Okay, I can see that. I could see that. John Saxon could be like the Punisher. Because I could definitely see him with the guns blazing and the attitude going.
I
Tim
have heard of the
Storm's
Punisher.
Tim Storm's kind of like, I mean, he's too jacked to be Hal Jordan, but Tim's definitely gritty like a Hal Jordan.
I could see Vordell being the Incredible Hulk because I've seen.
Oh yeah,
I've seen Vordell mad, and he turns into the Incredible Hulk. You know, especially the '80s version where it's still kind of man in there, and you know the muscles and everything. Like,
and Roman Reigns is Aquaman.
I mean, I guess the movie version, yes. The comic version has blonde hair and blonde goatee usually, not always. But and Jason Momoa even said it himself that he did not think he was getting Aquaman.
No.
The movie he's in right now, coming out at the end of the month.
He was born to be Lobo.
Yes, that's who he thought he was going to be. But you know, hey, an opportunity came up.
Oh man, I bought every Lobo.
He said he would do a Lobo movie as long as it was rated R. You know, if it was a PG-13, he would decline. He would pass. But if they did it right and you know made it for adults, that he would do an R version. Lobo actually has a new comic book out now. They're only 4 issues in. Issue 4 actually comes out tomorrow, so I might can let you borrow them and get caught up on the new Lobo.
Did you ever check out Image Comics when they came out?
Oh yeah, I started
Shadowhawk, Pit.
I started collecting in 1995, 96, which is right around when Image came out. So when McFarlane and all those guys left Marvel Comics and started Image, that's when I started collecting. So like Spawn was a huge deal for me as a kid because he was on fire. Savage Dragon was another one. Youngblood. There's a lot of those Image characters. When they Darkness, Witchblade. You know, that was kind of the early Image stuff. Image is the best independent comic book publisher that there is still to this day. That's where, you know, obviously with Castle Aiden, if we could ever end up on an Image Comics, that would be the kind of the holy grail for an indie creator.
Well, I'm excited for it, Josh.
It's going to be an adventure, Dave.
This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a good time, and we're excited to have you on the network.
Thanks for having me.
And tell everybody how they can well, tell them where they can find you because they're fixing to see you regularly here.
Yeah, Josh Newell on Facebook, Bayou Independent Wrestling on Facebook, Bayou Independent Wrestling on Instagram. I respond to messages every single day. I usually post something every single day too. If it's about sponsorship, tickets, anything like that, you can also shoot me a text, 318-355-1301. j.newell34@yahoo.com is my email. Best way to get me, though, is definitely Facebook. I will respond to your message in the same day that you send it. You know, you won't have to wait a long time to hear back from me or anything. I check it every day. And that's you know, it's wrestling, it's real estate, it's comics. That's the 3 things that you'll be hearing about the most if you follow.
And crawfish.
Crawfish season's coming to an end.
How many did you get in this year?
I think I lost count-ish, but I think I'm at 39, but we're going one more time. So I will get to 40.
You missed a good one at my house.
I did.
We had plenty.
I need you to move just a little bit closer. Move to Louisiana. Move to like Tallulah.
I'm here forever.
I don't blame you.
You drive past my house every time you go to Brookhaven.
I do because I go through Utica.
Yeah.
So I have to go to your house.
Matt Presley said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the GOAT. Did you ever read the black and white Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Oh yeah, I still collect some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff.
Did it blow your mind when they cut Shredder's head off?
Yes.
And I wasn't ready for it. I'm not looking for that in comic books, and I'm like, whoa.
I don't know. Well, comic books aren't just for kids no more now. Comic books have a little more
No,
edge to
kids
them.
can't afford them.
There are still comic books geared towards kids, but that's not the majority of what comics are anymore.
Yeah.
So they're definitely more gritty. Like Absolute Batman is the #1 selling comic book in the world right now, and it is dark, gritty, gruesome, body horror, all sorts of stuff involved. But I wouldn't recommend a kid reading it. But it is the #1 selling comic book in the world. It comes out tomorrow.
Well, good deal. Well, Josh, I want to thank you for joining us tonight.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Bye, Amy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Josh. Josh at Bayou Championship Wrestling, he gets his belts at Big Time Belts.
Oh.
And you can too. Facebook.com, Big Time Belts. Join the group. If you can dream it, they can make it. This belt here, the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship. This is the belt that made me a belt mark, guys.
Okay.
I saw Ricky Steamboat with this belt on an ad for the wrestling album on Pro Wrestling Illustrated. You could get the wrestling album with just a picture book. But this championship belt with the white paint stood out to me, and I was locked in on wrestling belts at that moment. This is the one that started it off for me. I have one in my collection, but this is superior to the one I have.
It's nice.
I'm seriously considering selling mine and replacing it with one from Big Time Belts.
Oh.
The AWA World Heavyweight Championship. This is affectionately known as the Inmate because the original belt was made by the Colorado Department of Corrections. The belt that Stan Hansen ran over with a tractor and sent back to Vern Gagne. And this belt is made with Velcro. It straps on with Velcro like the original.
I like it.
I have one in my collection. It's I think that this was what made Crockett go get the big gold.
I could see that.
Because I think that the NWA belt was small. The WWF belt was small, but the AWA had this great big belt. And I think that that's what we, with the big gold is what they. Here's a custom United States belt. I love how they put the map of America with all the states lined out. I like the 4-corner ring on the side plates. I like the grapplers hooked up. This is a cool belt. It's a classic design, but they threw a crown on there. And then our good friend Tim Robbins with the AMW Heavyweight Championship belt, the one that he always wanted. Loved working for Tim and his family at AMW, and I love that Tim got the belt bug, and he's still going. I mean, we told him when he got his first one that it was an addiction, and he's been on it like blue bonnet. I'm telling you. Big Time Belts has made his belt dreams come true. They can make your belt dreams come true as well. High quality, low prices, Big Time Belts, Facebook.com. Slide on in and and you too can have your belt dreams come true. And we thank them for sponsoring our pod. We got next week on our show, Amy, we have Luke Roberts from the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame from St. Louis, the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame. Luke Roberts is going to be on to tell us all about that great organization. In the coming weeks, we're going to have Monty Warbucks on to talk about World-Class Championship Wrestling. We're going to talk about wrestlers that are not the Von Erichs or the Freebirds. We're going to talk about the supporting cast.
Fabulous.
El Sleazy was recently made his debut for Bayou Independent Wrestling. He heard that I had a new podcast coming, didn't know that Josh was in it. I've had so many people in my DMs trying to get a hint about it. Like Billy Gullett. Billy Gullett, you going to talk wrestling? A little. It's not the main focus. I wouldn't give him any hints. But El Sleazy reached out and said, "Hey, hit me up." So yeah, we'll hit you up. Definitely have him on. We're gonna get back to getting some guests in here, and we had a great one tonight with Josh, and I'm excited for him. You know, I've always sang the praises about you. I'm very fortunate that I work for, I don't work for a lot of different companies anymore. I do Bayou, I do SWA, I do Battle Zone, I do LAW, and I'm blessed that I get, and I could work every weekend if I wanted to. I just don't want to spend every weekend in a car.
Sure.
I'd love to get down and work for 225. I'd love to work for Wildcat. I'd love to work for AWA. I'd like to get, all over the place. I'd love to go to Tennessee. I'd like to go to Missouri. I'd like to go, to Pittsburgh. I'd love to get up there and work for Rise one time. There's not enough hours in the day.
I know.
And
there's not enough money in it, or you could do it for the time.
I drive all week professionally. I don't want to do it on weekends every weekend. And I got, and family's important to me. I want to see my kids. I want to see my grandkids.
Yes.
My love for professional wrestling has not gone away. And I love, I love that I can get in here 2 or 3 times a month and they all treat me with, they treat me so good. And I'm so blessed to get to work with so many great wrestlers. And, it's fun getting on here with Josh. I'm excited about his Kickstarter.
Oh yeah.
When I saw that t-shirt with the king on it, I'm thinking, man, I need that picture. I need that picture. That's because I gave them to my daughter. A lot of my comic artwork is hanging on in her upstairs in her house because she appreciates that kind of stuff. But I had Bob Kane Batman. I had several autographed by Bob Kane, signed and numbered. I had Superman lithographs for the 50th birthday. I just all kinds of comic art I would get. I've still got some in one of the bedrooms here. I didn't give it all to her. I've got, if you go back and watch Seinfeld, everybody knows that Jerry Seinfeld was a huge, huge Superman fan. And he had a Superman statue on a shelf in his apartment, and you'd see it on camera. I have one of those. They're limited. They're highly, highly sought after. So, I spent a lot of money back in the day on my comic book collection. And now they have Sideshow Collectibles that, people are paying thousands of dollars for the most magnificent statues.
Really?
I can't roll like that. I'm sitting here telling you that, and y'all know I got 70 plus wrestling belts, but
right.
But I can't roll that. I just want to, I'm excited to get Josh on the network and just talk about comic books.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because I'm a huge, everybody thinks because of Super Dave that I'm Superman guy, but I got excited with the Injustice series. If you haven't ever read the Injustice series, Superman snaps.
Yep.
The Joker nukes Metropolis. He nukes Metropolis and makes and hits Superman with the Scarecrow gas, kryptonite laced Scarecrow gas. And he thinks that Lois is Doomsday. And
Lord.
flies her into space.
Oh.
Well, when her heart stopped beating, it set the nuke off on Metropolis.
What?
And she was pregnant with his child.
My goodness.
So Superman loses it.
Yes, as he should.
And becomes a dictator. He's going to stop crime. And of course, Batman gets the resistance because, I enjoy Batman comics. I enjoy Batman, the detective stories. But let's face it, Batman's a pussy. How many times you gonna let Joker escape and kill somebody? Kill the son of a bitch. He beat Robin's brains in with crowbar, and you can't kill him. Batman comic books doesn't kill. Batman in the movies apparently doesn't have that problem.
Right.
But in the comic books, I get frustrated that he lets these. Why are we letting these psychopaths live?
Right.
So and that's just. But but Batman's one of my favorite characters to read. I like Nightwing, and I can easily get caught up into reading comic books. I just there's some really good ones. But if I get Injustice, it comes in a trade paperback. They did several years of it. When I started reading, it was 99 cents an issue, and it came out weekly, and it was digital only. So I was reading it on my iPad, and I couldn't wait for Wednesday to download my next issue because Dictator Superman, with nothing left to lose, was a really, really good story. It's called Injustice, Gods Among Us. I highly recommend it.
Cool.
And I think that's where Zack Snyder was going in the movies with the nightmare scenes when Batman was having nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
Superman came in and it was using the heat vision, melting people.
Right.
And then at the end of it, I think that we were going to get to that point that they were going to do. I think he was building towards that. And hey, let's face it, that made Superman interesting.
Yeah.
He's undefeatable. So was he a villain really? Because he was just telling them there'll be no more war. There'll be no more crime.
Right.
And I mean, he did get overbearing because absolute power corrupts absolutely. But it's kind of like sometimes, was Thanos a bad guy? If you could snap your fingers and get rid of half the assholes on Earth. So, I mean, you ask yourself, it's philosophical.
Right. Right.
So
that's what makes a good bad guys, when they don't think what they're doing is bad. Right.
Right. So, I mean, was that they said that you live long enough, you're the hero long enough that you become the villain, or?
I don't know what that saying is, but I know what you're saying.
but I'm looking forward to going down this journey with Josh. I always enjoy having him on the show. We have great conversations. We talk wrestling. We can talk food. We can talk comic books, and he's got good opinions on pro wrestling. But you get different flavors of wrestling on the independents because you take an MPX that runs weekly.
Mm-hmm.
It's storytelling every week because it's a continuation of stories. Bayou has a continuation of stories, but it's more good wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just giving you're getting entertained with quality wrestling, and the stories will continue. But it's not as story based as like a Metroplex. And SWA, we have our stories, and they've got their territories. And
sure,
SWA is really close to. I mean, they've got their towns, and they're making the same towns, and you can pretty much count that we're going to be here and here and here and here and here and here.
Right.
And then you got LAW. That's a faith-based. It's a faith-based organization, but their biggest mission is bringing people to God.
Mm-hmm.
And everything we do is for His glory, and using professional wrestling in that capacity. So, and then you got the same with Battle Zone. Battle Zone's running armories. They're the old school gritty style of wrestling. And so it's fun. It's something. You got to go spend your money and support independent wrestling. When I tell you it's better than what you see on television, that's not hyperbole. It's you will enjoy, and it's such small investment on your part to do so.
Right. Definitely.
I mean, down in Jones County, if you run into a bad guy in Jones County, he's treating you the same that he does on, I mean, hills are hills. I mean, they're that way all the time.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just, it's good stuff, man. If you just long to believe, then find you a good independent show to go to. And there's plenty of them out there.
100%.
They don't all, I mean, and I'm not bagging on WWE. I'm not bagging on AEW or any of them. I mean, you can watch wrestling 7 nights a week, but you can't afford to go to wrestling 7 nights a week.
Right.
You can afford to support your independent wrestlers. And I mean, we're all our circle of friends that went to Chicago for the wrestling showcase. We're so excited for Jacob Fatu because
Oh, yeah.
Jacob Fatu built a connection with the fan base.
Yes.
And now everybody's seeing what we knew 4 years ago.
Yes. 100%. That was a great show.
And last night, you know, Roman Reigns gave him the hug he's been chasing. Hey, you're in the family. You're in the family business. Gave him some kind of follow. But then he kicked Andre's ass, Andre's ass, and pulled him over the rail and splashed him a couple times. I mean,
yeah,
because he touched his follow. And Roman's like reminding everybody that, I mean, this is not a babyface faction at all.
No.
But people are still cheering it. And I'm telling you, I think it's coming. I think it's coming that the bloodline is going to be all back together. Every Samoan united. And I think it's going to be the next coming of the NWO. And the WWE universe is going to have to come together to battle them off. But I'm so happy for Jacob Fatu.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I cheer whatever he does. But it's kind of like the NWO was to me. I liked Hall and Nash and didn't like Hogan.
Well, and I think, too, if you do keep it bloodline, you're not just going to get the random people in the, you know, like it's going to be very selective in the sense that it really is going to be family. It will be interesting if Sami Zayn shows back up in that, you know, if he's in the group at all.
He's honorary Oos.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, are they going to let that be part of the story?
Yeah.
If, like you said, they're all coming together.
Well, I was going to wrap, but since I brought this up, did you watch Raw last night?
I did.
Did you think it was strange that Roman did not mention the High Chief Peter Maivia or The Rock?
I did.
When he started naming names, and you're going to leave the high chief, you're going to leave Maivia out and The Rock. I think that was by design because I honestly, God, think that Triple H can't stand The Rock. I think he resents him coming around and screwing up his plans the last few years.
And they were screwed up.
And I think The Rock screwed him. I think The Rock screwed him at WrestleMania with I'm wanting Cody's soul.
Yeah.
And then backing out and not showing up.
And then the whole John Cena thing was weird.
Yeah, I think The Rock's petty and he got even. Honestly, that's what I think. I think he got even with Cena for all the stuff that he said about him when he was in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And calling him out for writing his promo on his wrist. And I think there was some pettiness, and because I think he's too smart to come back and screw things up as bad as they got screwed up.
Right. But
I'm gonna tell you what they're not screwing up is this guy.
Oh, he's pretty awesome.
He beats Dom last night. He's going to the finals of the King of the Ring against the winner of Jey Uso and Javon Evans.
That will be interesting to see who he,
Only way he's going to lose is if Brock interferes.
Well, but they're pushing Jay, or at least Roman is, in his conversation. So it'll just be interesting to see what they're going to do.
Well, I think that Oba should win it, and Oba should go after Roman,
But that would be a great reason to have a match.
There's no reason to back off of this. Man is the future of this company.
Right. But he's supposed to have a match with Brock, right? At SummerSlam.
This guy has Hulk Hogan 1984 potential. I mean, they can strap a rocket to this man.
They got to give him enough bad guys to take on. Oh Lord, you know what?
How great is this?
Well, how long do you think that WWE is going to let him do cameos?
They're getting a piece of it. They'll let him do it as long as they want to.
They are getting a piece of it.
Yeah, wondered. He's got a waiting list.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just wondered about. Well, but a lot of other WWE wrestlers are not able to do cameos. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's great But I just wondered, how long are they going to really let him do that?
Well, I mean, this is what he does.
Right.
And
that doesn't matter to WWE.
But I mean, they're riding this Nickhausen thing in, and I mean, they can't keep doing it. They can't go to another franchise because eventually he's going to be wrong.
True.
This was a perfect storm.
Yes, he needs
But
to
I mean,
be it.
I mean, he came out of the crate, and we thought, oh man, this is horrible. I can't believe it. And then they didn't let him talk. But
him coming out of the crate was horrible.
But he's recovered from it. He's so
100%.
entertaining.
Yes.
I'm happy for him. I love what they're doing. The Knicks, I would hope, even if WWE has to pay for it, I would hope they'd give him a ring.
Oh, that'd be great.
But I mean, they're selling merchandise. They got it. And AEW, what he does doesn't fit in AEW because everybody talks about AEW fumbled with him. But do you think, and I don't know how much AEW you watch, because I tuned it in last week and I saw the Andrade match. Because I was flicking channels and Andrade was in the ring. I didn't even know that Andrade was the New Japan global champion at the time. He's not anymore. But I didn't even know. And I saw Andrade with that belt and I was like, okay, this might be a good match. But do you think the silly shit they're letting Leo Rush do now is in response to Danhausen? Because it don't fit. It doesn't fit into what they normally do.
True. I don't know.
But all of a sudden,
it could be. But it's Leo Rush is he's almost like a zombie, like a possessed. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. Whatever they're doing, whatever.
Oh, me either. But I'm just saying. I'm just wondering if that putting that so much, because I mean he was in the middle of that match. He came and took the camera away from the girl that was doing the selfie with Andrade.
Yes.
And I mean,
he's got like purple tea. I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah, I expect him to say he's looking for my precious.
Exactly. Something very, yes.
But I mean, I just wondered if it was a response, but
trying to think about, kind of like, Eric Bischoff always says wrestling's a buffet. Like you have different things for different people. And that's how he looked at WCW. And maybe that was like, okay, well, they're doing this kind of campy, out of this world, cursing. He's a Dracula kind of thing. Like,
I can't wait to see what he's building.
Similar. Huh?
I can't wait till the clone's unveiled. What he's building.
Oh God!
Who it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who knows, right? Like you said, but it is funny. I just, like I said, with the cameo, like everybody is wanting, and he says it on his, that's all he gets now is requests to curse different franchises of some sort. He's cursing whatever. They're playing
ride it into the ground.
Oh yeah. As long as people are going to pay for it. And like I said, but I'm with you. I think he walks away from like being part, like he could ride this Knicks thing forever. Like I wouldn't, like you said, you don't want to get into a territory where you look, stick with the Knicks. This was a once in a lifetime kind of thing happening. And like, don't try to go to the Super Bowl and don't try to do that every time. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. Eventually you'll kill it, but
exactly.
I want to take a second to put over Drunken Pop. Drunken Pop just recently did June of 1995.
June 1995.
They did June 1995 on and it's here at if you're watching us on X or Facebook, we're over here on YouTube at markoutmoments.net. That'll take you to our YouTube page and you can catch all of our great content that we have, including the TNA Top 10, which I'm going to go to, and hopefully one of them still in the chat and can tell me when they're going to be back. I'm jonesing. I got to have my TNA Top 10. When we going to be back, guys?
They said it earlier this Sunday. Way earlier when they first all got into the chat.
Oh, I didn't see it.
They were saying that they were going to be back this Sunday and that they needed to get together to discuss the topic.
Okay. Well, I'm excited that they're going to be back because
Yes. We don't know the topic though. They didn't know the topic 2 hours ago. So I'm
well,
going to
whatever
it's
it's going to be good. The TNA Top 10 here on markoutmoments.net, along with Talking Rasslin, and soon to come the not yet titled Josh Newell project.
I like that. The Josh Newell project. Baseball managers. Like
We're going to do baseball managers. All right.
we're going to pick like the best baseball managers of all times. Major League Baseball.
For me, Tommy Lasorda comes to mind.
Then we're off the next weekend.
We may take the 4th of July off. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well,
we've gone 2.5 hours, Amy.
Yes, that's what happens.
We went old school. Hey, and we're going to have Justin Davis in with us too.
Yes.
Justin Davis is wanting to come back on with us. It's been a while since Justin's been in. We're going to call that the OG episode.
Oh, that'll be good times.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get
him. Probably had the. Well, I don't know. He does baseball, softball now. Right now, doesn't he?
I mean, we talked the other night, and he told me he'd love to be back on. So we're gonna get him in here. I told you the door would never close. So
I just know. Yes, of course. I know he stays super busy with all the reffing that he does. So I'm really excited that he has some time.
All right. And we will. We're gonna wrap this up now. And I want to say a happy Father's Day to all you guys that were just poking fun, and she took it serious.
Yes, everyone. Happy Father's Day. All those dads out there, you do not get your flowers like you should. There are lots of good dads out there, and it shows in your children. It really does.
Yeah. We know who did all the work that night. We know who loaded the oven.
Yes.
All right, for Avy Vaughn, I'm Pondwater Dave, and we will see you next week on Talking Rasslin here on the Mark Out Moments Network. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Talking Rasslin, time to go. Thanks for watching our epic show. See you next week.